Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Joe Davis, Southern New Hampshire University. CJ 202, we're going to talk about milestone number 1, the week 2 assignment or module 2, field notes. Okay, as always, I suggest you review the rubric. Make sure you understand what the assignment is before you jump in and start to answer it. The overview is important. It tells you what it is you're doing, what's expected of you. It's really only about 4 sentences. Specifically, the following critical elements must be addressed. That's the next item up in the rubric. Your field notes sheet, which is what you're actually going to submit, your cohesiveness of your field notes, and then the accuracy of your field notes. So what we're going to do now is take a look at the rubric so you can see how, the actual language of what you need to do to get the highest possible grade. Okay, here we go. CJ 202, Milestone 1, Field Notes, Guidelines, and Rubric. There is the overview that I just discussed, just mentioned. Here are specifically the following critical elements. There is, of course, one missing, and that is the writing mechanics. Here's what's expected in your field notes. Initial observations. For example, this might be visual evidence, statements, sketches. Okay. The cohesiveness of your field notes. Your notes should contain information on the observations and actions that are essential in forming a cohesive report. For example, if you observe the suspect wearing a red jacket with specific insignia, so on and so forth, you can read all those. Okay, it has to be in 12 point new Times New Roman. Not all software has that, so if you can put it in a equally acceptable, similar professional format, that's fine. 1-inch margins, top, bottom, left, right. If you need more help about using rubrics, there it is. And then here are the critical elements. So you're going to be 40% of your grade is on cohesiveness of those field notes. So you need to describe observations and actions that are essential in informing a cohesive report. Accuracy correctly describes observations and actions that are essential in producing an accurate report. Articulation of response, once again 20%. No major errors related to citation, grammar, spelling, syntax, and organization. Okay, let's take a look at the specific content for this particular assignment. I can't really give you examples without giving you the correct answers. You do, if you look in the textbook, there are some examples of note-taking. You have the rubric to follow. The types and amount of information should be similar in everyone's paper. I watched the video and took notes as though I were a patrol officer, and I came up with more than 50 possible items to include in your field notes. So when we talk about the rubrics and we look at the one that says that there has to be accuracy, yeah, there could be as many as 50 items in your notes. Examples of that would be, of course, the type of call you were dispatched to, the street address, Mrs. Jones's name, her side of the story, what you saw when you arrived, that she was sitting on the steps and crying, people looking out the window. All those kinds of things should be listed in your notes. These are field notes so that you can take it. It's basically an outline. In my books and in the way I've taught police officers is that we use a scratch outlining format of note-taking, which I won't confuse you all with, but basically it's every time you ask a question or see something that becomes the key sentence in your paragraph. So we cover paragraphing all at one time. Anyway, that's what you should have. If you don't come up with 45, 50, 55 items, go back and listen to the tape again, okay? Requirements for submissions, 12-point Times New Roman or similar as I mentioned. Okay, I hope that helps. Just a little quick overview, get you started on the project. If you have questions, let me know. Email, text them, put them in the general questions of the discussion board.